This is the 6th day of this April 1981 7-day sesshin, and we will continue reading some of the Bassui letters from the 3 Pillars of Zen. Three times in the Hakuen Zenji's chant, there appears this word samadhi. Who isn't here that doesn't think, how can I get it? I wish I had it. Could have it again. That would solve all my problems, extinguish all my evils. Purify all my karma. It certainly needs purification. All these thoughts are the absence of samadhi. Not wanting, not running away, not wishing, expecting, grabbing for, or rejecting, or looking for panaceas. None of that. It's not knowing about samadhi or any other state or experience. To a man from Kumasaka. You asked me to write you how to practice Zen on your sick bed. Who is he that is sick? Who is he that is practicing Zen? Do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? From moment to moment? One's whole being is Buddha nature. One's whole being is the great way. Which means one's whole being is one's whole being. Whole. Not this little annoying part or that little pleasant part. One's whole being is one's whole being. The substance of this way, Bassui continues, is inherently immaculate and transcends all forms. Is there any sickness in it? If you feel sick, you don't know if there is or isn't. You certainly feel sick. And Bassui's words alone, the words alone are no help. One must find out. What is the substance or the essence or the core or underneath, whichever way you want to put it to yourself, this sickness. For which the number one condition is no escape from it. Man's own mind, Bassui continues, is the essential substance of all Buddhas, his face before his parents' birth. This mind with no obstructions, this mind which is whole, all-embracing, not stuck on parts, pleasant or unpleasant, painful or joyful. It is the matter of seeing and hearing of all the senses working together as one. The eyes hearing and the ears seeing. Because there's no interpretation and like or dislike of what is seen or heard or felt. One who fully realizes this is a Buddha. One who does not is an ordinary human being. These are just labels. But we do need to communicate about some matters. Hence all Buddhas and patriarchs point directly to the human mind so man can see his own self-nature. See into it. Kensho means seeing into. The seeing being the self-nature. So that man can see his own self-nature and thereby attain Buddhahood. Attaining to the shattering understanding that there's nothing to be attained. For the best relief for one perplexed by shadows is to see the real thing. First of all, to see the perplexion. Become aware of that. One doesn't realize that one is perplexed by shadows, one is caught up in them. They rule one. Bassui continues, once a man was invited to the house of a friend. As he was about to drink a cup of wine offered him, he believed he saw a baby snake inside his cup. Not wishing to embarrass his host by drawing attention to it, he bravely swallowed it. Etiquette can make you do all manner of things. Actually, the way this host turned out, he wouldn't have been offended in the least. Maybe he would have changed the position of that bow, put it into the attic or something. But the man didn't know this. He was taught not to offend the host. And what's in your cup you drink, even if it's a baby snake. Upon returning home, he felt severe pains in his stomach. I remember that once. I was always living in fairy tales. Certain ones. I only picked out certain ones and read those over and over and over again. One of them was that one where the evil queen poisons an apple. I don't even remember what. Snow White, yeah. So I always got a sandwich and an apple to school, and one day that apple, as I bit into it, was all pink inside. It's actually a very precious apple. It's called a rose apple. But I'd never seen such a thing before. I bit into it and ate it, and I was grievously ill. Until it was pointed out to me that these apples cost twice as much. How precious they were, but even I had my notions about this apple being poisoned. A few times I had to leave school. Many remedies were applied, but in vain, and the man, now grievously ill, felt he was about to die. His friend, hearing of his condition, asked him once more to his home. Seating his friend in the same place, see, he knew that. It's amazing what kind of a man he was. He again offered him a cup of wine, telling him it was medicine. As the ailing man raised his cup to drink, once again he saw a baby snake in it. This time he drew his host's attention to it. We can say there was a development taking place. Without a word, the host pointed to the ceiling above his guests, where a bow hung. Suddenly the sick man realized that the baby snake was the reflection of the hanging bow. Both men looked at each other and laughed. That's a very good remedy, too. There are even medical articles being written on this, on the healthfulness of laughter, because the whole body is shaken up. Tears rolling out of the eyes. The pain of the sick man vanished instantly, and he recovered his health. Becoming a Buddha is analogous to this. The patriarch Youre said, "When you realize the true nature of the universe, you know that there's neither subjective nor objective reality." At that very moment, karmic formations which could carry you to the lowest hell are wiped out. That there's neither subjective nor objective reality, it still sounds terribly abstract and theoretical. Means it's just the oak tree in the garden. The one who's sitting there not filled with such self-concern that that's all that's seen is the self-concern. No concern. No ideas. No label, oak tree. And that I've seen that tree before. So then one just sees one's memory of it. They're just being that, and that is not an oak tree. At that moment, no image in the mind. And if there's no image in the mind, What link is there to all the others since time immemorial, carved into the brain? No link. Therefore, a break with what is called here karmic formations. One true samadhi extinguishes evils. One such instant. There being no image of oneself, hankering, clamoring, fearing, wanting, not wanting. Just tweet, tweet, tweet. This true nature, Bassui continues, is the root substance of every sentient being. Bankei calls it the unborn Buddha mind, or just the unborn. Before thought arises and raises hell. Not that all thoughts raise hell. There's some very useful thoughts. If one uses thinking healthily, wholesomely, this true nature is the root substance of every sentient being. Man, however, can't bring himself or herself to believe that his or her mind is the great completeness realized by the Buddha. So he clings to superficial forms and looks for truth outside. Oh, it goes on. Looks for truth outside this mind, striving to become a Buddha through ascetic practices. And there's no ascetic practice that hasn't been tried by desperate human beings, thinking that this ascetic practice will resolve that knot inside. And in the process of practicing ascetic practices, one becomes dependent upon them, which is a new knot, the knot of dependency. But as the illusion of an ego self does not vanish, man must undergo intense suffering in the three worlds. One world has enough suffering. He's like the one who became sick believing he had swallowed a baby snake. Various remedies were of no avail, but he recovered instantly upon realizing the basic truth, that it was the production of his own mind. This is this beautiful refrain that resounds through the Tibetan Book of the Dead, where the Lama will describe all what will appear to the dying person and to the one traveling through all these bardos, these intermittent states, all the blissful appearances and horrific, terror-striking appearances, and in between you always say, be aware that these are all the productions of your own mind. its resourcefulness of producing imaginary things. It's not imaginary. A toothache is not imaginary. Found this address by an ancient Tang master, Huansha or Gensha. This is what he had to say to the assembly. All of you people see there's danger. What he means is think, but let's say see. We're not speaking here of really seeing real danger, the danger of ignorance, of greed and so forth. It'll become clear as we read this. All of you people see there's danger, see there are fierce beasts, deadly weapons, and all the various things threatening your body and life. And so you give rise to limitless fear. What is this like? Exactly like a painter who has drawn himself images of hell, or of tigers, or of swords, and having looked them over well, then he becomes afraid. All of you people are like this too. All the hundreds of kinds of existences you see are your own illusory productions. You make yourself afraid. It's not someone else who commits the fault for you. Do you want to awake from this illusory confusion right now? Simply open your adamantine eye, the diamond eye, the eye of true seeing, which is not a simple matter, but it's there. If all this other stuff isn't there, the wanting, the fearing, the running, the expecting, the hoping, that is not there. Maybe this adamantine eye will open on its own. Because it's never really closed. If you can discern it, it's never taught you that there's a single atom of dust that can be revealed. So where would there still be ferocious beasts and dangerous weapons that could threaten or frighten you? It's impossible to find any place even for such tricks as Shakyamuni Buddha to appear. So I say to you, the true eye must hold the world in balance. The true eye holding the world in balance. In order, that's the meaning of the word dharma, the world in balance. The true eye being the dharma eye that holds the world in balance, in order. And contain heaven and earth without the slightest leak. And in the sesshin one comes to realize all one's leaks. Not that one always minds to leak away. Very often this is what one wants to do, leak away. Well, then don't complain. But see it for a fact. That one prefers the leak to the question at who is leaking. Or what is mu? without any leaks. Gensha continues, where would there still be anything to be known by you? Do you know? Why don't you get busy and find out? Bassui continues. So just look into your own mind. No one can help you with nostrums. In a sutra, the Buddha said, if you would get rid of your foe, you have only to realize that that foe is delusion. For instance, the delusion of success and failure. Which we talked about yesterday at some length. Gaining and losing. The pure lotus land being far away. All the phenomena in the world are illusory. They have no abiding substance. Be careful of a sentence like this. All phenomena in the world are illusory. Is a great mountain illusory? Is the Matterhorn illusory? You can climb it. It's a bunch of rocks. Is this illusory? Is this illusory? Ouch. It's hot. Little squirrel running up the tree trunk. Is that illusory? A headache? A bellyache? Is it illusory? It can be a very confusing thing to use this and say, oh, everything's illusory. Then you add to the fog you already live in. Illusionment is living in one's ideas of things, and being in direct touch with them, be they inside the body or here or there, without already knowing all about it, having your fixed ideas about it, or yourself. Even those illusions are real enough. One who does not see the true nature of things mistakes shadows for substance. The shadow of idea, of memory, of wanting, or hating, the shadow of escape, of defense, defending these illusory images that one has of oneself. That is to say, in Zazen, the state of emptiness and quiet which results from the diminution of thought is often confused with one's face before one's parents were born. But this serenity is also a reflection upon the water. if it is a reflection on the water, if there is still one who says, wow, how serene I am. There is a serenity which is no reflection, no water, no serenity. It is living and acting and moving out of stillness. With no one directing the movements. Movements coming on their own as the situation demands it. You must advance beyond the stage where your reason is of any avail. What reason does is redescribe and redescribe and redescribe in ever new and ingenious ways what has already been described. And trying to figure out. There's a pain one has, and one tries to figure out what it is, and one is already revolving in a murky sort of a thought pool. Rather than just being with that. Not trying to think it out. It can't be thought out. It must be been with. Lived with. Without saying I have to live with it. It's an idea. Moo or who? Where does the inner condition start and the moo end, or the moo begin and the inner condition end? They're one. One questioning, one practice, no separation, no division. That's what it means, laying down your life. A life of ideas and designs and devices and gimmicks. In this extremity of not knowing what to think or what to do, ask yourself, who is the master? Or what is moo? What am I? Who? Or what is it? Don't say that's doing something too. Is it? Or is it asking without having any answer? Who is the master? Who am I? He will become your intimate, Bassui says, only after you have broken a walking stick made from a rabbit's horn, or crushed a chunk of ice in fire. Which means doing the impossible. No one comes to Sesshin to do what is possible. Can one do what is impossible? Tell me now, says Bassui, who is this most intimate of yours? Today's the 8th of the month, tomorrow is the 13th. Don't count days. This is not the 6th day of the Sesshin. Letter to the nun Furusawa. You have written me that the object of Zen practice you believe is the manifestation of mind in itself. You've written that the object of Zen practice you believe is the manifestation of mind in itself. But how does it manifest itself? What can be seen with the eyes or be known by reason cannot be called mind in itself. The eyes which have reason sitting right behind. That's why it's so difficult. And yet not impossible, even though it seems impossible. Actually, an extension of the brain sits right on the retina. And yet it can be short-circuited. With no intention whatsoever. Just question, not knowing. You must begin your Zazen by looking into your own mind. As your thoughts diminish, they diminish when you pursue one, or when you question in the midst of them. And if they don't diminish, question mu anyways. Because the thought of diminishing is adding one more thought to the thoughts that are already there. As your thoughts diminish, you will become aware of them, but it is a mistake to struggle to stop them from arising. Neither loathe nor cherish your thoughts. Only realize the source from which they stem. Siyun advised his students to put the wado, the nub of the ko and the mu, or the hu, before a thought arises. And that's what he called the wado. Before even a thought arises, mu, who, or what? One must want to do this. One must need to do this. It's all in the doing. Realize the source from which they stem. By constantly questioning whence thoughts arise, where do they come from? There's a different question here. Time will come when your mind, unable to answer, will be free of even a ripple of thought. Yet even now you will find no answer, but still ask, what is this mind? To the very rock bottom. The questioning mind will suddenly vanish. Your body feel as though it were without substance, like empty space of the 10 quarters. This is the first stage to which Zen beginners attain, and they are encouraged to some extent. Don't compare yourself. Small thoughts. Just listen. In this listening, it can be everything. In the listening without comparison. But if they mistake this for the manifestation of mind itself or truth in itself, they are like one who takes fish eyes for pearls. Those who persist in such error become haughty, malign Buddhas and patriarchs, and ignore the law of causation. Haughtiness being the cause of much misery in oneself and others. And not to even realize that. How pitiful. So they have to struggle with evil spirits in this life and tread thorny paths in the next. Always this thread of threat of the next life. It doesn't have to be the next life, it's the next moment, the next day. And yet one true seeing or understanding extinguishes evil, wipes it clear. One can get so loaded down by this idea of one's evil karma, of past lives. One breaks down under the burden. Like the idea of original sin. Men who cannot perceive the truth of all this, who do not believe their own mind is Buddha, and who look for Buddha or truth outside of this mind, are infinitely worse off than non-Buddhists who attach themselves to the phenomenal world. I think we're all in the same boat. One way or the other. Human beings don't differ fundamentally, either in their illusions or in their true mind. Just little shades, cultural shades, climactic shades. That's not fundamental difference. Everybody's born of parents, which says a lot. Born of parents who've been conditioned by their parents. Everyone feeling oneself as me. And the fear of that isolation and all the sublimations and mechanisms set in motion to overcome this feeling of isolation and helplessness and weakness. The world over, since time immemorial. What were the pyramids built for? To keep a dead body forever. The body is still there, but the jewels have been stolen. As I've already written to you, Bassui continues, when some insight comes to you, go to a competent Zen master and openly demonstrate to him what you have perceived, exactly as it came to you. If it is faulty and needs to be dissolved, let it be done, like boiling water destroying ice. At last, like a bright moon shining in an empty sky, through clouds that have broken open, your face before your parents' birth will be revealed. And for the first time you will understand what is meant by the saw dances the Sandai. Sandai is a kind of dance. Just consider, a saw dances the Sandai. What does it mean? Maybe some people have never seen a saw. The branches dance with their shadows. tackle it resolutely, but without reasoning, for it has no meaning in the usual sense. You will be able to comprehend it only upon self-realization. You next mentioning that you're going to fast. Fasting is a non-Buddhist practice. Don't do it. Renunciation of your wrong views, which discriminate gain from loss, good from bad, that is true fasting. Relinquishment of delusion in the wholehearted practice of Zen, this is self-purification. Abstaining when one understands something leads to trouble, even though it may be pleasurable. Abstaining, not out of being ascetic and I got to renounce this and that. There's nothing wrong with delight. But when one understands, this leads to hurt. This is dangerous to myself as well as others. Then can one abstain freely? Like one abstains from drinking poison even though one is parched thirsty. That's not renunciation. It's wisdom, which comes from clear seeing. Bassui calls it, this is self-purification. To desire abnormal experiences is as misguided as wanting to appear different from ordinary people. You have but to keep your mind steadfast, steadfast, steadfast. Rock-like steadfastness, not like that. It's not steadfastness. It's impersonating something that one thinks is steadfast. Keeping your mind steadfast yet flexible. That's the combination, the ideal combination to the safe. Steadfast yet flexible. Steadfast in the who, and yet not stuck to it. Not finding one's nest in the who or in the moo. It's not a nest. It's an open question. As open as the skies and more open than that. Flexible. Concerning yourself neither with good nor with evil in others, and not obstructing them. If you remind yourself that this world is but a dream in which there is no grief to avoid, this life is not a dream. I don't always have to say that. And in the Orient, so much life, all Maya, all illusion. Of course, the way we live it, it is. But don't blame it on life. Saw dances the sundial. Branches sway in the wind. What is there dreamlike about that? Sunlight a dream? If you lie in it, you're going to get burnt. Your skin will peel off. That's not a dream. This idea that life is a dream, that leads to leaving the life and getting yourself into another dream place where you think you're away from this dream of life and you continue dreaming a new dream. If you remind yourself that this world is but a dream in which there's no grief to avoid, true enough, no grief to avoid, no joy to look for. Don't look for it, but when it's there, and it's not to be denied, and it's not to be clung to when it's over and finished. Not to be worked up and over in the memory till it's milked dry. Sometimes it seems one can never milk one's memories dry. No grief to avoid, no joy to cling to. Your mind will become visibly serene. And not only this, but your illness will disappear as your delusive feelings and perceptions fall away. They fall away. Bassui doesn't say, get rid of them once and for all. Because the one who says that is the delusion, the me. You must even discard whatever you realize through enlightenment. Do you discard it or you just not attach yourself to it? See that if it becomes a memory, it's just that. And then why milk that memory? Can one see freshly every moment? That's the question. Not what you experienced once before. Can one see freshly? With open eyes and ears and feelings. Feeling, not just joy and pain also. The pain of this whole world. The sorrow of it. The sorrow of ignorance. And millions of people not even aware of it. And not be crushed by it. And yet not be oblivious of it. Not oblivious of it. And yet not chafing under it. With rancor in the heart. What is more, Bassui continues, you must not attach yourself or be repelled by visions of any kind. Not attach yourself and not be repelled. The nice ones we like to attach ourselves to, the scary ones we try to repel. Moo oh ooh in the midst of all of it. And right through it. Come and go like the clouds. For they're illusional, says Bassui. Don't involve yourself in such fantasies, but only inquire, what is the master who sees all this? I dislike writing you in such detail, but since you have written me from a sickbed, to which you have long been confined, this is the only way I can answer, so you will readily understand. Do you understand? No. Who? What am I? What is it? Not knowing. We will end here. The Four Vows.